stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much and welcome, everybody. And I'd like to welcome Commissioner and you're still Commissioner, right? Yeah. And Executive Director of Economic Development. Yes. Okay. All right. First item is public comment, and if you would, please keep it to 3 minutes. Brad, thank you. Identify yourself if you would, and.
Yeah, Brad Carey here, live out in Tahuya. Been a resident for about 35 years. Port of Allyn. I've been watching the meetings, been involved in the Port of Allyn for the last 4 years or so. At the last meeting, I brought it to the Port's attention that it is out of compliance with the settlement agreement that we set up with the Port of Allyn to here back in 2022. I need the Port to get in compliance with that settlement agreement, okay? And so I've offered to sit down and mediate. I haven't offered. That's in the settlement agreement, is we have to mediate if there's a dispute. I brought it to the Port's attention. There's multiple disputes, multiple violations. So I'm pleading with the Port. If you want to sidestep the mediation process, I'm willing to sit down and talk to you, run a roundtable discussion, and work things out. It's done all the time. We can try that. If that doesn't work, then I'm requiring mediation, okay? So that's, please comply with that, okay? All right, next, water business. The Port shouldn't be in the water business, okay? It can be in the water business, but it shouldn't be in the water business. My observation is that, and even at the last meeting, I think Joe Cederland mentioned that the connection fees are up to $8,000 or $9,000. If that's right, we belong to the Maggie Lake Water District. Our connection fees are about $2,500. We belong to the Shorebrook Water District. Our connection fees are about $2,000. So the Port's job is economic development, growth, attracting businesses and economic growth to the area. The Port can survive, but it needs to find a piece of property that can set up as an industrial business park, a small one. I mean, Mason County is mainly residential, but there's still room for an industrial park, I think, in the Port's district's property. Find that property and develop it into a business park, and do what ports do. Create, you know, a lure or opportunities for businesses, small businesses, to be able to come to this district and, you know, do what they do. That's what ports do. As far as being in the park business, I mean, go out to SeaTac Airport, Port of Seattle, Myrtle Edwards Park. I mean, these guys have industrial facilities in these locations. You know, they put parks around these industrial facilities to make it more attractive for the general public. But in this case, we don't have that going on here. You're just in the park business. And it's very hard for you to operate under Title 53 under the park business. The parks are an ancillary activity for ports to be engaged in, and only so much as it more fully helps them utilize their wharfs, airports, rail facilities. You don't have that going on here. So, you know, if you're going to be a park, parks have different laws they get to comply with, and there's different incentives for parks that allow parks to, you know, be parks. So you're a port trying to be a park, and I don't think that's working very good for you. Okay, are we done? Oh man, I had more to say, but thanks for taking my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Perry.
And if you don't mind, I just drove an hour to get here. I'd like to get back up dinner, so thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next. What?
Nothing. Well, I mean, not yet. I mean,
Okay.
You got a whole bunch of business to get through. Then there might be some things.
Okay. Ken?
Hi, Ken Van Busker from Belfair. We typically can't comment or ask questions during new or old business items, and I know you have a lot on the agenda this evening. When I look through the materials, I would like to ask the commission to ask questions during the executive director's report and or the business items. One thing, I know you've got the attorney online. and you're going to be discussing something with him this evening, but I would ask that both your attorney and Endurus be made aware of the following questions regarding the Sweetwater property. I think they need to look at the 22, 23, 24 RCO grant application and resolutions. I think they need to look at the 2022 5-year memorandum of agreement between Mr. Coppola and the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group. They need to know that the port property, not the Salmon Enhancement Group property, is on the Department of Ecology's contaminated sites list. They need to be made aware of the federal court injunction regarding culverts and the existence of 4 fish barriers upstream of that lower culvert. And they also need to be aware that there's 50-plus unmitigated hazard trees identified by myself and the port hired arborist. And they also need to know that the former executive director told you last fall that the price of that project has tripled since the port has had it. I also noticed an invoice from a Dallas, Texas company, Civic Plus, for $4,771 to Mr. Coppola. Why wasn't this discussed at the workshop? And was this another one of those membership renewals?
Excuse me, I
I'm-
didn't hear you. Is this another one that's what?
Of the membership renewals that it was never discussed? I'm disappointed in the Sweetwater project, and in my opinion, you don't need to call a special meeting to review documents. This could be handled at a regular meeting or at a workshop. And as before, I request that the commission do an independent audit and investigate what transpired since the port took ownership. I have important information that I need to share with your attorney and Endurus regarding the property. Please have them give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Hi, good evening, commissioners and guests. I'm not going to talk about the dock today, even though I know that's usually what I talk about. I live up here at one of the Cedarlands homes, and I looked at your agenda this evening, and I saw the report from the unpaid fees, and I'm a little bit confused. I have a couple of my neighbors that also live in a Cedarland home, and I'm just hoping for some clarification on, there's going to be a vote today on waiving those fees, and it's a little bit hard to follow, so, because I see my address listed on there as having an outstanding balance, and I just want to make sure that's not going to be my responsibility, since that wasn't disclosed to me when I bought the home. So I'm interested to see if we're going to discuss that tonight, and maybe I'll have comments later.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gina.
Anybody else? No? Okay, moving forward. We are at approval of the agenda. Gentlemen, have you seen anything that you would like to change or add?
I don't. Notice at the top of the flow notes, there's a one item that I requested to add to the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll add to that then, and in old business. Let me see, and that should be,
It's not on the published agenda.
I know, I was just looking to see.
Sure.
We'll put it after everything. D,
Yeah,
right?
D would be the last.
Okay.
Yeah, be after everything.
Okay, so we're going to change that.
The item is discussion on removal of interim from Executive Director Travis Merrill's title.
Okay.
So you'll have to make a motion to approve the change
Yes,
in the agenda.
I know, I was getting to that. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Yes. I, Commissioner Curtin, make a motion to approve adding to the agenda discussion on removing interim from Executive Director Travis Merrill's title.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, next is our lawyer Tim Schermitzler of CSD Attorney at Law. Welcome, Tim.
commissioners. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, we've worked together for some time on one-off projects that our firm has helped with. And
I understand that the port is interested in retaining our firm as the port's general counsel. Our firm does have the capacity to do that, so I'm here tonight to answer any questions that the commission has. And I've shared with Mr. Merrill that our firm will be sending you our engagement letter that has all the information on our billing and our firm, which you've seen previously on the other matters that we've been engaged with you. But we'll be sending that general counsel engagement letter as a follow-up to this conversation. But here tonight to answer any questions that you have. And that's why I'm here.
I don't have any, do you have?
No, everything I've seen so far.
Because right now, we're just here to have you approved as our attorneys. And we've worked with you for a long time, you and Frank Schmellick, and thank you so much for what work you do. So thank you.
it's our pleasure, and I enjoy working
With the port and look forward to continuing to do that in the future.
Okay,
Thank you, Tim.
I think we need a motion to make them CSD attorneys at law, our attorney, our general counsel.
I will make a motion to approve Tim and his firm as our general counsel.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
You too, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah, part of CSD, Frank Schmellick has been a port attorney for many, many years. He's been excellent. And I appreciate them willing to take us. Okay, next I would like to invite and have Kevin Schutte please come up. Kevin, thank you so much for taking time to come up here and talk with us and let us know how you're doing with Economic Development Council of Mason County. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Well, I appreciate the invitation. Commissioner, it's great to be with you this evening. Travis, I appreciate you reaching out to me and making this all happen tonight. It's a great night to be out in Allyn, and I promise that I'll keep this brief so that you can get through your business and everybody can go about enjoying the beautiful weather and the holiday week in front of everybody. So, as Commissioner Scott mentioned, I am the new executive director at the Economic Development Council. I'm also currently one of the 3 county commissioners, but not seeking re-election, and so transitioning out of that elected role and into a unelected and nonpartisan role, which is super appealing. But nevertheless, it's a great opportunity to be at the helm of the EDC. And Commissioner Scott, I appreciate your service on our board at the EDC. You've been a long-time board member there, and so excited to see where we take the organization next. And so for folks that are in the audience or might be watching, and for the other commissioners who might not be familiar with the work of the EDC, Travis already got a little bit of this last week at the North Mason Chamber lunch, and so I'll try to mix up my stump speech here a little bit. So, but we are firmly planted at the intersection of the public and private sector, and so our board is comprised of both public sector agencies and private sector employers. That provides a really good perspective on what the community needs from an economic development point of view. And so what we are trying to do is we're trying to find opportunities to align the needs of the private sector with the abilities of the public sector. And so when I talk about that, what I mean is we're looking for opportunities to invest in infrastructure. We're looking at opportunities to support housing in our community, and we're looking for opportunities to support workforce development in our community. And so sometimes we get compared to chambers of commerce, and we're a little bit different than chambers of commerce. We have a unique role in our community. We're complementary of our chambers of commerce. You have a great one up here in North Mason, and we have a pretty active one down in Shelton as well. And so, we do similar things. We advocate for small businesses. We try to promote economic opportunity in the community, but our Economic Development Council is what's called our Associate Development Organization, which is a designation that the county confers on an organization that has a definition in our statutes of Washington. In some communities, ports are the associate development organization. In a lot of counties in our state, their economic development association fills that role. And so we have some funding that comes from the state, and that makes us do things like business recruitment, business retention, expansion. We try to assist entrepreneurs in the community, get connected with programs to help them develop their business plans, to work with them as they get started, but also, if they're interested in expanding their business or finding ways to, diversify their revenue and things like that. So we play a critical role when it comes to supporting those entrepreneurs in our community and small businesses in our community that is similar to a chamber, but still kind of unique in that way that we have a unique designation from the county and the state to do that work. Over the next couple of months, we're going to be working on adopting our comprehensive economic development strategy list. So the Port of Allyn has been a contributor to that list. Thank you for those projects that you send our way. As the economic engine of North Mason County, you have a unique role to play when it comes to developing these lists and going and seeking the funding to ultimately get those projects done. And so we'll be finalizing that list over the summer months here, and then that tees us up very well. We're looking forward to a long legislative session in 2025. And so, we're going to be looking at going and getting those projects funded, and some of them are closer to completion than others. There's a lot of times there's planning involved, and so we'll support those efforts. But ultimately, we want to see projects come to completion, and we want to be able to support our members in that effort as well. So we have a kind of an exciting summer. I do want to flag for you an event that is coming up on August 29th at the Ridge. If you haven't seen the save the date, August 29th is our annual event. We're going to be out at the Ridge Motorsports Park out off of 102 celebrating our memberships, and it's our annual membership meeting, but we're also going to be partnered with Porsche. So that's kind of a fun opportunity for us there out at the Ridge. The Ridge is a member of our organization and very generous with their facilities, and so it's just an opportunity for folks associated with the EDC to come in and learn a little bit more about it, learn about what we've been working on, and then have a good day at the track. So we'll let them get in go-karts, and there's some good food and drink as well. So we're excited about that event, and just really kind of Commissioner Scott, you probably recall in 2022 there was a board retreat that had a work plan associated with it, and so over the past year we've been a little bit more focused on the Recompete Act, which was a federal grant project that we were chasing, and so we're going to kind of get back to the basics on the work plan that was developed in 2022 and go after those things that the board said was important, and I think we'll be successful in that because I think there's a lot of energy and enthusiasm in the organization right now to get things done and to deliver for the whole community, not just one part of the community, not just one organization over another, but the entire community. And I think we're ready to take that next step here economically. So with that, I'll stop talking. And if commissioners, if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to give them an answer.
Any questions? No? Well, I'm kind of excited to see, or curious to see what, as EDC can do for us up here. As you well know, it's kind of always, a lot of times been down in Shelton and Shelton-centric. So thank you that you're coming up here. I've often been asked, why do we join EDC? Well, it's because of the connections, of course, but hopefully that connection will get resoundingly more active and with you being on board, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I appreciate that. And I think, when my wife and I first moved to Mason County, we first lived here in Allyn. And so my wife was a district nurse at North Mason Schools for several years. And, we don't live in this area anymore. We live in Union, but this place still has a special part in our heart and our story here in Mason County. And, one of the things that I'm interested in working on with the board and our partners is, kind of developing a place-based strategy for how we approach projects and needs in the community. And so Even though you're just a couple miles down the road from Belfair, the needs in Belfair are different than the needs in Allyn, and are different than the needs in Shelton. And those three are all different than the needs in the rural parts of the county. And so, how do we come up with a comprehensive strategy that addresses each of those unique areas and those unique parts of our county so that we do have that broad-based economic opportunity for community members, and hopefully too, we're inviting new people into the community to invest here and to to develop in our community, and how do we do that in a way that's sustainable and manageable, and holiday week here, people traveling through Belfair, you're going to feel the pain, and so we're going to keep the heat on the legislature and DOT to make sure the freight corridor comes in, and and we continue to follow through on those commitments that the community is expecting us to. So definitely excited to continue working up here in the north part of the county, and if there are things that come up that you feel like the EDC can help support and be a partner with you on, we're definitely open to that and excited to help you along with that.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Do you want to entertain any questions from the audience? I
Sure.
thought I should
It's up
maybe
to
a
you.
better.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to
just
do whatever
leave it
is.
for a
Yeah, I
moment.
don't want to shorten these opportunities at all.
Okay.
Yeah, no, good.
Any questions from the audience? No? Okay. Oh, Kat?
Kevin, could you mention what's happening, what the EDC, anything you can speak about is happening in North Mason or, Belfair and Allyn?
Sure.
particularly?
Like the bypass?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is, that $80 million road project that we've been talking about for a few decades. That is the big project up here right now. We see that they're starting to do right-of-way acquisition, land acquisition, and getting that process started. And my experience and in conversation with our legislators, that seems to indicate once they're committed to buying land, that's a really good sign for a project moving forward. So pretty optimistic that we will see them continue that work and doing all the environmental work that they have to do here before they turn dirt. But that is definitely a priority. That'll continue to be a priority. One of the things that's definitely on our radar at the EDC is all of the planned work at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. And so we're thinking about what those billions of dollars of investment from the federal government in Bremerton mean for our community here. And so if we're talking about expanding their dry dock capabilities there, or we're talking about bringing in another aircraft carrier, those are thousands of people who are going to need a place to live. And so we have to be focused on housing, and we have to be focused on opportunities for people to be able to shop locally and and support a local economy where they live. And hopefully that will also attract defense-related, employers to our area as well. And so we're definitely watching what's happening at Naval Base Kitsap eagerly to see, what those plans look like. And it's a sustained multi-year project that PSNS has. And so that doesn't mean we can't start planning for it now.
Excellent.
About the airport, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question too. I mean, the neighbors to the north, the Port of Bremerton, I think kind of in my conversations with some of the port commissioners and folks up there, I mean, they are eager at exploring what their commercial aviation options are. If you're on the road to SeaTac, you might be a little bit excited to maybe think about going to Bremerton as your starting off point instead of SeaTac, but I think they're very interested in that. There's another meeting that's kicking off with State DOT about siting, I guess SeaTac Junior or whatever you want to call it, at some place outside of the King Pierce metro area. So I think they have their eye to the future, and I think that's probably the right place to be looking is, what is their commercial aviation capacity there, and what are they willing to do to expand their runway and some of their facilities. So we'll wait and see, but again, that's one of those things where, we all need to kind of be keeping an eye on it and participating in some of those discussions because, again, we're only a few miles down the road. Different communities, different needs, maybe even different hopes for our community, but we'll definitely feel the impacts of development like that up there. So something to keep an eye on for sure.
And just to follow up, earlier it was mentioned a business park of some sort because of water issues, whatever. Is there any talk of bringing something to this area that is like that through the county?
I don't think that we've had that conversation at the county, but perhaps if the port is interested in, certainly economic development and through that real estate development of those kinds of facilities are part and parcel to port work. And so I'm sure if there's an interest up here in developing a project like that, your 3 commissioners here would be engaging in those conversations. And if they are interested, the EDC would be right there with them to help wherever we could. So yeah, I think I'll leave it. I won't steal any of their thunder. I'll leave it to the commissioners.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. So, and if you all think of anything, don't hesitate to reach out. This is the first, I hope, in many opportunities for us to talk together and to work on things as a team. So
Yeah,
I appreciate the
great.
opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you, Kevin.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, moving right along, we have consent agenda items, and that's, I think you've had a chance to review the regular meeting minutes, June 3rd, June 10th in our workshop. So if you don't have any questions or any concerns about it, do I hear a motion to approve?
If there's no issue, or I should say, if there's no further discussion on all 3 of those, I'll make a motion on all 3 of those minutes.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved. Okay, moving along, just the ratification of the weekly June fund transfers from Kitsap Bank to Kitsap County Treasury. Have you had a chance to review those? And if so, I'd like a motion to accept the ratification of these transfers.
I'll make a motion for ratification of the weekly June fund transfers.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, so moved. Now we're on to commissioner reports. Who would like to go first?
I'll keep it simple. I'll go ahead. The 3 meetings, my involvement in June was basically attending all 3 of those meetings, the June 3rd, the June 10th, and the June 13th, regular, special, and special meetings this last month. And I think we're moving forward in a very good direction. That's all I got to report.
Okay, Michael?
I've been attending the meetings as well. I think we're heading in the right direction. We're making progress and turning the ship in the direction it needs to go.
Okay, excellent. I too did the June 3rd, June 10th, and June 13th. Also, I was at an EDC meeting, June 13th. They received 4 new board members, and there's a Washington State Small Business Credit Initiative Owner-Occupied Commercial Real Estate Loan Program. So I'm just kind of getting that out there, just for anybody that might be interested to contact Kevin. You might know. Okay. I think it was our treasurer that really kind of spearheaded that because she had the information about it. I mean, not our treasurer, EDC treasurer. What's her first name again? Donna, yes. Yeah. Okay, and then the June 22nd, Course Leanne's Memorial. That's about it. And I wanted to say thank you to the staff and everybody who helped with the memorial for Leanne. Thank you so much. Okay. Now we are on to our executive director report.
Okay. You've had a chance to review all the provisions in the director's report, I assume?
Well, I kind of went through that. Yes, I did.
Do you have any questions on its content or concerns?
No, I don't right now.
I do not either.
I don't think.
Okay, so it's in print, so there it is.
Okay.
I guess I could comment on a few things that make the public aware of. We've certainly seen a lot more marina activity here this month, of course, with it being summertime, especially down at the North Shore. The dock's nearly full after a couple more reservations today.
Good.
So that's a hope and dream for us, because that's about when we get the most amount of traffic and income on our marina. And then a special shout out to the Kitsap County Derelict and Abandoned Vessels Program meeting that I went out to. I got a last minute invite to it, basically morning of. So I made some changes and made sure that it was the only Mason County port represented there.
Wow, well, good job. That's
But
great.
they were very happy to see me in a sense that I talked to them about how we're going to be able to fit Mason County into what they've got
Good.
going on, and they said that there was definitely some precedent already for us being involved in the abandoned vehicle or RVs together. We have an interlocal agreement for abandoned RVs between the two counties, which is basically the same process as an abandoned vessel.
Okay.
So there's more meetings to come. The next one is scheduled for August 14th. If either of you would like to get in on that, let me know. They're all held in Port Orchard
Okay.
at their commissioner chambers. And there was eight. There was 8 ports represented from Kitsap County there.
Great.
So,
Yeah, I would, if you could remind me.
yeah,
after-
I will. I'll
after.
remind everybody. Other than that, that's the big bulletin points I wanted to kind of go through.
I have a question, the security camera, you have the install scheduled for August 27th?
Yeah, so we did have the install.
June
yeah,
27th,
June
I'm
27th.
sorry.
So the install did happen.
Okay, gotcha.
But the box is now too small.
Yippee.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're working on that. We've got it closed and secured with some tape, but we won't have enough room to put the router in there as well as the modem.
Okay.
So that's something that'll evolve here in early this month.
And that's at North Shore.
Yeah, it's at the North Shore.
Okay.
That's to solve our camera issue.
All righty. Great. Any questions, commissioners?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, now we are on to port priorities.
Yep, in the old business section.
Yes, in the old business, port priorities. Let me take a look here.
So first off, we have the 2 banner choices.
Yeah, I was just, I did not see that in the here. Okay, yes, and we need a decision. Those banners are for,
So that will be, that goes across our canopy for Allen Days.
okay, gotcha.
For this Allen Days, future Allen Days, perhaps we do something at the Grapeview Water Festival. We would have a banner to present ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 2 options that Natalia had designed and are literally in a format file that we just send to the printers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody see those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
So,
I think the darker one's pretty, but I think this would probably, I'm just throwing out my opinion, doesn't matter, right? But I like that one. I think that's pretty simple. I like simple, but that's my thought. So, gentlemen, what do you prefer?
I don't like being real busy, but I'm in the same
This, right?
line up with you on that. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It represents who we are in the Northwest. So does that, but anyway.
Michael, what's your thoughts?
I like the second one. First one's neat, it's just, I'm not sure, I think it's too dark.
Yeah.
I think
Just
the-
the-
if I had one complaint, it'd be the darkness.
the rest of it I approve.
Your first one's my second one.
Yeah, it was.
All right, so
So-
I see
This wins, I think.
water version, welcome Port of Allen as the winner.
Yeah.
It shall be done.
I agree. I mean, thank you for agreeing.
No,
Okay.
That should be an easy,
Yeah.
less time.
Okay. Now, the next one would be,
You've got, was port priorities as, that was the regular.
there you go. I'm looking, sorry. I want to see your,
So you'd be on water system development after the port's regular business? Which entails the Cedarland Homes summary sheet.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, oh, that's what I was looking for. So
That's
sorry.
this one, right?
No, it's,
He's so efficient, he gives us so much paperwork.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, I see, here we go.
no, that is the
This
trial,
isn't the
that's a
wrong
trial
one.
balance sheet.
But this is it, right? It's the second page. No, what you had, but it's the second page.
Thank you. Well,
So
where do you want to start on that one?
I guess I can lead on that. This
Thank
is
you.
basically a summary sheet.
Yeah.
That gives all the addresses that have had Cedarland Homes build homes in the entire plat. And all of the, each home was either had fees paid for or didn't have fees paid for. And then there's also unpaid service fees, like utility fees that are on there as well.
Travis, going to interrupt one thing, just, I want to make it clear, and young lady out here mentioned it. So these addresses that are behind it, in some respects, in a lot of respects, it's not necessarily the homeowner or the person living there that has been the issue.
Correct.
I would want to make sure publicly that that's clear, that this does not have any particular relevance or impact on the lack of a person living there paying this.
Correct. And
Okay, yeah.
so.
Because we have all their addresses here, so, all right.
So the, some of the addresses have service utility fees that were unpaid before the house sold.
Yeah.
And those ones have been addressed to Cedarlands themselves, not to the tenants. It just happens to be showing on those actual addresses.
As it should.
Okay.
Yeah, as it should, because that's where it's tied to, but those are not being billed to the current owners of those homes. Some of these homes have been sold, and some of them are being leased. So that's just recognizing those unpaid fees by the Cedarlands so that we can have them tabulated in a
Right.
full summary sheet.
And from this, we can make informed decisions about how to move forward from here, right? Because we're trying to get things better and correct.
Right, and then there's the service connections, which are the development fees that were either paid or unpaid. That looks like to be a total of around $31,000. So,
So I want to make sure that your owner portion, which is, says here, does not necessarily go to the.
doesn't necessarily go to the
Owner-
current
current
owner,
owner.
the current owner of
Okay,
the
just
house.
to clarify.
Correct.
Okay.
Just Cedarland, so
Yeah.
this is when they owned it.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aaron.
And then you go over to the tenant portion, and it shows that the tenant portion would be what those particular tenants would currently owe because they bought or they rented the home going forward, correct, Aaron?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think there may have been some disputes at one point about tenants not contacting the court, so that I think there were some time periods where the billing was happening, and maybe the tenants weren't getting the bills. I'm not sure how they became so large, but I think there was some maybe miscommunications between developer and
Okay.
And at this point, we have made contact with 99%, if not 100% of the tenants that owe money. So if you've been contacted by us and say, hey, you owe this money, then you would owe money. But if you have not, then there's no money that you back owe.
Can you tell me what action plan you're suggesting
So-
going forward with this
So what I'm.
information?
Yeah, absolutely. So my suggestion is that we follow the water system policy.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Which literally tells us that these fees should have either been A, paid up front,
Right.
which did not happen, or B, a 24-month payment plan set up for you to be able to pay the port off in a timely manner for the fees that are owed. So my suggestion is that we go after that 24-month payment plan
Okay.
and have it available for Mr. Cedarland in the next 30 days.
Can you give me an idea, was there a lot of surprise on the other end when you're communicating with the individuals throughout the community?
No, most of them kind of
Okay.
knew, or like, well,
Okay.
I didn't understand why I hadn't had a water bill, and I'd been here for 6 months.
Oh, for crying out
And
all right.
so
loud. All right, thank you.
then they go, okay, I understand, and most of them literally would pay like $200, and then the next time they got paid, they would pay off the rest of the balance.
Okay.
So we've gotten quite a bit of those back charges done. There's a few that There's a few that have not been very communicative, and then there's some that have owed a lot, but they started making payments. So this is where we, the rubber meets the road on, we send the billings to Mr. Cedarland and the option for the 24-month payment plan, and then anyone else that hasn't made a payment plan with us, we go forward with the 30 days or terminate service notices.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and to be fair to these people, we don't, in some of the ways we've been conducting things regarding that is set them up for, a little bit of failure, we have to take responsibility for that.
And we,
Trying to repair that.
yeah, and we've been in contact with all of these tenants,
Okay.
or they have just not returned our calls.
Okay,
So,
thank you for that.
so yeah, actually, because it's such a huge monetary amount, I will require a motion from the board to go forward with the sending the billing out to Mr. Cedarland and the option for the 24-month payment plan.
Yeah,
On that note, have you contacted him directly and talked to him on the phone?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No, I have not.
All right.
He's been told numerous times that these are being prepared.
And I know that you put a lot of work into this. Are we spot on here, Aaron?
I think yes,
We have-
this is, I think, through May, so there's some that might have the June 15th billing that haven't been added to these numbers, but this is,
Okay.
And those are just service connections, not actual development fees. The development fees are just 100%.
All right.
yeah, they both are that. The service connections are what they are.
I'll make a motion if there's no further discussion.
well, I see Joe is on. I think what's difficult is
It'd be,
we should probably wait. Not wait, but,
Okay.
yeah, let's go ahead and,
I think we got a public comment where that's going to come in.
we do have public comment at the end.
We can put this off if you want to do that.
it is 30 days, so there's plenty of discussion we can have if you want to have a special meeting after.
I think
later
it's
on down the way.
appropriate.
I think what's so difficult is, fair disclosure, we've had some mistakes on us, but they too. And I don't think we're really going to be able to give any discounts or anything. But we also want some people, like even Mr. Carey was saying, we want to have economic development and have people move into houses. And so it is tough, but we also have to follow our policies.
And the one thing that was in the executive director's report that didn't get discussed yet on this is that the late fees weren't added on. So there's no late fees added on to
Right.
Okay.
which are, of course,
Substantial.
substantial.
I'm aware of that.
Yes, that's true.
And if, that's something the port could easily waive. If they, thought that, there was a problem, not a problem necessarily, but wanted to have some sort of leniency that was at least, you could see that happening in the policy. So,
Okay.
That's, if we're going to go ahead, if we're waiving the fees, that's dealing with, our part of it. We need to go ahead and go with the policy that we have set.
But I am in the same mindset as you. This is really good. We're moving forward. A lot of work put into this. I just want to make sure that when we make a decision, we're not going to undo anything. So I would like to see us go at this one more time together as a
Okay.
commission.
All right.
Whether it be a special meeting, whatever that looks like.
Well, we can table this until our next meeting.
Okay,
Do
all
a
right.
special
Gives
meeting, if
Mr.
that's
Cedarland
okay.
a chance to have a discussion with you. I'm interested in what he has to say and a few other things, so.
Okay.
And I'm wanting to go forward on this because I know we need to, but we're almost there, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so
so
too.
if I may suggest,
Yes.
Board, perhaps I prepare the 24-month contract.
I think that would be wise.
And that's kind of what I was just looking for approval for, to prepare that.
Okay.
When we have a public comment.
And if that is prepared, then it would be available for Mr. Cedarland to show up to the public meeting as well as the board to
Yes.
completely review it.
Okay.
Because it is a substantial amount of
Yeah.
money.
That should be a specific invite for that, yeah.
Sure.
Right?
So, I don't know if you need a
No,
motion to do
I will,
that. Just go ahead and
yep,
prepare
I
it.
will, I will prepare the contract and that I will contact you with the special meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, Travis. And I do acknowledge that you're there, Joe. We will have a public comment at the end. Okay, so moving along.
Setting the day and time for the workshop.
What?
Emergency repair.
Yeah, are we,
I thought we,
I think we're at the
Oh, okay, yeah,
emergency
so
we
repair.
are.
I'm sorry.
I just thought we already,
Yeah, Allyn Emergency Repair section.
okay.
Do you have any questions about where we're headed there?
No.
Okay, we just don't have any new real information. I did get a last minute email from Marine Floats, but I decided not to add it to the, because we're still waiting on our funding.
Okay.
But I did get the packet off to Commerce Friday.
Okay.
So that is in process, just, it takes time. They will have to go through, we'll have to wait the same amount of time, if not maybe longer, than we did when we sent the Commerce packet off for the well,
Okay.
because it's the same appropriations process.
How much
Correct me
is
if I'm
that?
wrong.
How much are we going for that one?
It's 500,000.
Oh, yeah,
It's already
okay.
been approved.
All right. Excellent.
So that's gonna take several weeks.
Yes, most likely several weeks.
Anything on the Oyster House relocation?
I don't have anything new to offer there.
Okay.
We've got about, what's today, the first 9 or 10 more days before the tribal 30-day deadline is over.
Okay.
And then once that's done, then finish submitting that to Commerce as well.
Great. Okay,
And then port safety, security, and maintenance.
yeah, what's this, update anything else on that?
Bathrooms work.
Yay,
That's cool.
That's an important aspect to having a park. The issue was too high a pressure over several years after upgrades to the water system. There was in excess of 85, 95, 90 pounds of pressure down there.
That's crazy.
And it wouldn't allow those flushometers to operate any longer. Once, we literally didn't even have to, we got 2 of the bathrooms back immediately when we reduced the pressure. Didn't have to replace any parts or anything.
super.
So that was the fix. And then there's a very large reusable filter that's been attached to it to trap some of the sediment. Because those commercial bathrooms are very susceptible to slight amounts of sediment. It can cause them to fail. And we have 3 out of the 4 are actually working now. We have to wait for another kit from Ferguson. But then after that,
Great,
all 4 of them will be ready for.
that would be wonderful.
Donnie's assured me that we'll have all 4 of them ready for 4th of July.
Okay.
And of course, we have them ready for 4th of July, we have them ready for Allen Days.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you for that and your perseverance.
Okay, next would be the setting a time for our workshop.
Okay.
That'll be interesting in July. I'm kind of booked all,
Yeah.
see if I can take a look here.
I am going to be out of town for the 10th through the 12th for the Executive Directors Conference with the WPPA,
Okay,
so that will be no good for me.
what about the 15th?
We have a rental all day.
With what?
Have a rental all day? Okay,
In the room all day.
Okay.
what about Tuesday, the 16th?
And we can't do the workshop upstairs because of the internet, is that right?
No, I mean, technically, we could do the workshop upstairs, it just wouldn't bode
Not
much
enough
room for the
room.
public.
Yeah,
Okay.
what about the 16th? That's a Tuesday.
I'm good with that in the
We can do
afternoon.
earlier in the day, just can't do it in the afternoon, late afternoon.
What's
Would
that?
1 o'clock in the afternoon?
1 o'clock on the 16th works for me.
Okay,
I can do that.
All right.
yippee,
Put my hieroglyphic remarks in here.
okay,
1 PM on the 16th.
yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. Okay. Next is taking the term interim off of your title.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. Do you need a motion? Yes, you do.
Yes, yeah, I need a motion.
And it would be,
That was right there, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion to approve adding to the agenda, or well, it's the
make a motion to approve the change.
to approve the change make a motion to approve the title change, the interim, from interim executive director to executive director.
I hear a second.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
Thank you
I
very much.
think you've earned your title.
At this point, it just makes a lot of processes a little easier
Oh,
when
indeed.
conferring with colleagues and such.
And that's, that comes with the next couple of meetings, we need to talk about the contract on that, what that looks like.
Okay,
We'll get there,
yes.
but I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
Yeah, currently the
Okay.
contract's good for,
It's not gonna cost us
Yeah.
anymore, I know that.
no.
Okay, I think we are on new business now. Appointment of the Port of Allen auditor. Do we, I mean, let me take a look at what you have here for the resolution.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you missed water system,
I did?
water system
Setting
projects.
time. Oh, there it is.
Possible
Skipped
C.
over. yeah.
I'm so sorry. Thank you.
So I put discussion on water system projects because the water system is our largest revenue source for the community, essentially, because we are running a water system that is designed for economic development. And there's been a great number of challenges associated with getting the water system back into solid progress.
Yeah.
I've been working on some contracts and such that we should have some completed documents available for the commission to see very soon. And this is also a time, since we have Jeff Carey here in the sense that he is our volunteer with the water system purchase. I kind of wanted to slate that spot for Jeff to be able to confer with the board as well about some of our water system challenges.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah,
Yes, please, if you would go to the podium, Jeff.
Jeff Terry, Belfair. The board needs to be aware, Travis and I, first of all, I'm sending Travis a list when I volunteer time, so that there's a record, because the contract had the 100 hours or whatever. So that's keeping track. Second thing is that the board needs to engage with Travis with, like, Kitsap Housing, JDK and others. These are developers doing things. And the way that came down last summer, it puts the port in a blind position, not knowing what's coming on. So in other words, your previous administration had the developer work with an engineer, but that engineer happened to be your satellite management agency, but the communication wasn't good.
Yes.
Because you did not know, nobody knew what they were designing. And the first I saw it was here about a month and a half ago. And not that there's problems with it, but it just needs to be looked at and thought through, and then an engineer, the ports engineer, whoever that's, whether it's West Sound or whomever, looks at it and makes sure that it's compatible with what you're trying to do. Because, and this is where we get sideways. For example, with Department of Health, you have an approval for a booster station. And as you know, many times I've testified on that matter about some of the shortcomings. In the process, in the middle of that, the port's creating another booster station in between, and that even if all those could work, the first design, it makes it even less appealing for a developer and other developers upstream to develop a booster station, because now the design, there's no ability, there's less latecomers. That's what I'm trying to get at. And so you've just taken a chunk, in this case, I think it's around 17, and pulled it out of that, group of maybe, 60 lots. And so that just aggravates the problem. All I'm getting at is, going forward, the board needs to be engaging, with these projects, with these developers, to some degree, I'm not saying you have to know everything, but you've got to be talking to them and seeing where they're going.
I agree.
Because you got, if I understand Travis correctly, that the Kitsap Housing wants to go. And the problem is, the port just got the plan. And now they got to go through review and what have you. And that's fine and dandy, but you don't have to hold up progress if you know what's coming down the pike. And as of, I think probably through May, early May, none of us knew anything. We had an inkling, but no communication from any of the parties. So all I'm just saying is that's one of the projects, and that gets in this issue where you're going to create development agreements and what have you, which the port has never done. And I'm helping where I know how to with Travis, but I think the board needs to some degree step in and do, assist, because you're putting everything on the executive director. In a kind of, I had this conversation in a weird case. I understand why we had to back the budgets off and all these kind of different things. In a weird way, when you look at it, stand back, forgetting the finances, what have you. He's fixing more problems now than all the problems we created over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So, in many ways, he or others are more valuable now than they will be 2 years from now, technically speaking. But that's not how, and that's fine. I'm not trying to get in the middle of personnel or agreements or contracts or amount. But what I'm trying to say is we have to respect that for all parties, what's going on. And so I realize it's kind of a long-winded thing here, but it's like there's this part of the water system, but there's also this part of staff and commissioners and what have you. So, and I'll keep, assisting where I can and looking at, giving a different point of view of what's going on or point of view. And many times it's not different. And there was just not really any changes to the what we call Kitsap Phase 2 and JDK, which is the other developer that's partnering. But see, again, Port had no idea all this is going on. And then, voila, they're presented with the plan. And first of all, you got to make sure it all meets your development regulation and your construction regulations. And that hasn't been done. And a lot of that was not done with, past developers. And so, anyway, I think that's enough.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff, because it is a tad overwhelming with these new contractors. I mean, these new developers. They're not new, but,
Right.
like you said, just becoming aware of what they're doing and making sure that we're having the right people look at their stuff, look at their
Right.
engineering.
I've mentioned to Travis, I don't want to see the port go the way to, like the way West Sound does theirs, because they have one whole page of indemnification plus, and that's just indemnification only.
Right.
Not to mention any of the other things. At the other side is, like the city of Shelton, there's components that would work here, but there's other components that don't. For example, when you get their water or get their sewer service, you also give them the power of attorney to annex you into the city in time. Maybe not right away, but, there's,
Yeah, right.
so there's, now I realize the port in its water system plan, its service area is the UGA outside of Lakeland Village. So I understand that. But anyway, it's not a copy and paste type thing easily, because there's a lot of different dynamics between this system here and others, so.
Thank you for that.
For a second,
Yeah.
just for some, we did hear back from West Sound Engineers this morning. So we did get some feedback on the Kitsap Housing Phase 2 before the approvals are going back to DOH. So there is some comment that we will address. And we have actually put Housing Kitsap on hold essentially until they've finished up with our requirements from their Phase 1 project before they can get their Phase 2 really rolling. But they're ready to hand us about $70,000 for for their 9 houses. And we are discussing how they're going to go about the self-install fee. They may consider having the port do the work with prevailing wage contractors rather than doing the work themselves, from my conversations today. But they have to weigh the fact that if we do go that route, we still charge the 15% administrative fee, and that booster pump could cost in excess of $100,000, so they may not want to go that route.
One other point in the whole development thing, which I lightly brought up when we were doing the negotiation for the acquisition of our water system. I didn't push it because there was too many other issues to work on, but we're running into it again. And that is that we, meaning the port, needs to go through the process of DOH to be able to connect to my old system. It's engineered to do something, more than enough capacity, but engineering is one thing, DOH approval is yet another. So, for example, where the lines front, where the port has no water lines, but our lines front, no parties can connect yet, even though you've acquired the system. Which to me, the Department of Health does a little bit of disservice there. In my mind, they should have been engaging more. I realized how blunt it was until presented with the problem. I knew that, and I discussed with the board here, that eventually you're going to have to create an upgraded water system plan that integrates the whole system, so that you're just going to have to, much like you did with the booster.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of hit us straight on that, like, if anybody wants, like, for example, there's a party that wants to build on one of the lots there on Blackwell Street, can't go. There's a party that wants to build on 2 houses on Brady Loop. They can't go. And they've been informed, but Travis has set up a meeting here on the 10th.
Yeah.
With
9:30
DOH.
a.m. on the 10th, if either of you are interested.
And I will be here present with him, so if something comes up, knowledge-wise, I can feed it.
And our engineer will also be there as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
But these are the many things, the water system's taken on a life of its own. Okay?
No surprise there.
Yeah, so.
It definitely encompasses the vast majority of my time in the office.
So I won't go to any other subjects. There's 2 others that keep bouncing in my mind, but I'll focus on water, so.
Are you want to be there for the meeting? Oh, boy,
Well, if you can make it, great. I mean, I have another appointment that I have to try to rearrange, but if you can, that
one of
would
us
be
will make
awesome.
it to that, by the way.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
No, not for me.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Well, we can move on to new items, I
Well,
believe.
just real quick on that.
Sure.
So, are we being diligent about moving water funds percentage-wise for the administrative side of the house to the general fund? Am I
So
missing
that is,
something here?
that was in your packet.
Yeah.
Yep, second quarter disbursement is.
So we're doing it quarterly?
Yep, quarterly, correct.
Okay, all right.
And it's ready to go. It's around 11,000 and change this time around.
I'm sorry, I was looking for that, so that, you answered it.
Yep, and we'll go over it in
Okay.
option A in the financial position report.
Okay.
Okay. So now we go to the appointment of the Port of Allyn auditor.
So we're supposed to always have an auditor appointed for the port, and Leanne was the last one that was officially appointed.
Okay.
So I wrote up a new motion to appoint Aaron if you so thought that
Oh,
that would be acceptable.
excellent. Yes, there it is.
Aaron
There's
didn't say
your
no
name
when I
finally.
asked, so.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm all for that. And so do I hear a motion to approve resolution 2024-012?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-012.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Do we need to read it into the record?
I don't think we need to read the
Okay.
whole thing.
Nope, you just need to approve the resolution number and that's it.
All right.
And I kind of screwed up. I put 12 before 11 because there's another resolution right after that.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's okay.
But I'm sure they'll
That's all right,
forgive us.
Do
We
I
can
need
do
to
it
sign
out of
it?
order here.
Yeah, so go ahead and, Michael will sign this one. Let's just do wet signatures on it.
Okay.
Make it
And
easier
just
on me.
pass yours down and we'll sign that one.
All right, you want to do it right now?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's sending
because it's
it
dated
down.
for today.
All right.
There you go, John. Okay, the next item is a discussion about changing the regular port meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
All right,
Now, traditionally, after all these 20 years, it's been the first Monday of every month, but it's been difficult to handle all of our bills, so we need to change that. So that's what
Too
this
many
is all
bills
about.
landing up on the first, and also, we'd really like to be able to tell the commission where it stands from the previous month, because the county reports do not come out until the first Monday, so.
all right.
So,
We're going to be changing 2 dates. We have Columbus Day coming up and Veterans Day coming up. It's the second Monday in October and November respectively,
Oh, boy.
or September and November, just so you know.
So, yeah, I will make sure that we
just wrote it.
reschedule that meeting.
Here it is, November 14th, Columbus Day, and December 11th, Veterans Day. The
Yeah.
Veterans Day,
And sometimes that will happen.
but you know, it always happened on our regular meetings
Labor Day-
too,
Labor
so
Day is
that's all
always-
right.
okay,
So,
it does.
So.
did you have a chance to, go ahead,
That was October and what else?
November?
I'm sorry, November
October.
14th and December 11th. We got-
December 11th.
It gives
okay.
you plenty of lead time.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you heads up, I look.
No, typically, the process has been to, the regular meeting before that is when you reschedule that meeting. So I'll make sure that it's on the agendas.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-011, and that's to change the meeting from the first Monday to the second Monday of each calendar month.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. That's gonna be a
So
challenge.
I goobered it up. It's October 14th and November 11th, okay? Yeah, I've had something else going on again.
We'll deal with it then.
Yep. Plenty of
go.
time.
Okay, next is a refund request from the Memory Care Project. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's,
And we got the request from Ron and Deborah Jamerson.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We would really like to see that type of facility in our community. There is always the possibility that they will find a different funding source and the project will go back online. But as it sits now, it's not.
it wouldn't be the same amount of dollars though,
Now,
not even close.
between when I posted everything and now, it kind of got brought to my attention that pending checking out MRSC and legal review, because nothing in our water policy dictates how to handle refunds for development fees.
Okay.
Perhaps, and the money's not going anywhere. Perhaps there should be a little bit more look into what our options are there, because they're, like the county, they don't refund all of that money when you pay. And most cities don't. Belfair Water doesn't. In fact, most of their fees are non-refundable. But we don't have policy for that. And unless you want to just be done with it and hand all that money back to Ron, which I don't have a problem with either. But I'm saying that it's possible that we take a little bit of time and look at what other provisions may be necessary for us to go through a full refund like this.
Well, kind of in the mindset, unfortunately, we don't have a policy. I know that we're in a position where we can do that, correct?
Yes, we are. We're absolutely in a position.
And
to do
that we do need this, we're gonna be getting to the subcommittees and the committees, we got work to do to get policy right, to get a budget, it's just a whole host of things right. So that's one of them. And shame on us, we need to clean up our own backyard and not have anybody or any entity or anything like that have to pay pay for, how should I say it, it should not impact them until we get our house cleaned up. That's when I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Well, I'm for giving them the refund, but then cleaning up our policies and putting in something.
And quite frankly, there's gonna be a higher dollar amount for the
Yes.
same thing that they wanted in moving forward. So it's a win-win. It's not for them, but don't get me wrong, but I'm saying, in terms of doing the right thing, it's still a win situation, so.
And also by doing this, encourage people
Yeah.
to, in business, our whole purpose is to promote
Yeah,
growth.
yeah. We need to clean up our policy, and in the
I see
meantime,
what you're saying.
make it right.
Do we have administrative fees that need to be
No,
addressed?
so, it was a blanket $25,000 that they paid.
Okay,
Okay, there was no, it did not follow any of our policy for a commercial connection or anything to do with administrative fees on top of it. It was just a $25,000 check, here's your water availability letter.
okay,
It didn't follow anything, any procedural ways of our policy or our system.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
it ties up 16 connections in the water system.
yeah, it's a motivator.
And 16 connections would have been worth about $104,000.
Okay.
So-
Jeff, you have 1 minute? Just because you're our water guy, so thank you.
Risk.
Yeah,
I've looked at the agenda, I made a comment to Travis this morning that you should look, first of all, there's a request, the funds are not going anywhere. If it's all straight and fine to do the refund, fine, it's going to happen in the next 30 days. The other side of it is, just got to make sure, because of where we are, that there's nothing, this is where the attorney should just look at how you create a resolution, make sure there's nothing that you're messing up in the process. I don't see anything, but we're in uncharted waters. no pun
absolutely.
intended.
Yeah,
I know.
And so I would respectfully request to Travis and also the board that this, like the other decision, you table this meeting, get the data, make sure you're clear all the way around, and then go ahead with the action.
yeah, I would appreciate that, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I'm in favor of refunding that, but I like the idea of running it by council.
Yeah. So we will table any decisions. And we will request that you do have attorneys look at it. Thank you. Okay, our social media policy discussion. No, yeah, and who's addressing that one? Is Justine?
I'll address that for you.
Okay.
So did you saw the paperwork that was in your packet
I don't know.
in number 10? Right after Ron Jameson, you've got Civic Plus and the CSD.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Personal, managing personal and social media accounts. So we went back all the way to 2019. We don't have any discussion of social media policy and/or a motion anywhere. So I can only assume, I can go back even further just to confirm, but we don't see that the port has a social media policy currently in place.
So do you have a template of anything yet?
No, but we will have a lot of templates available to us here shortly with our new legal counsel on the job.
Okay,
Tim and I have discussed a plethora of templates that they will have available to us. That being said, this invoice here for Civic Plus,
yeah,
that is an agency that documents all of our social media activity in case we ever need it for public disclosure
yes, correct.
purposes. There was 215 actual instances where they had documented our information for us. And most of it was for former Director Capola
okay,
and a few for Leanne. And what I really want to do is assess with the board what your social media habits are.
well, I don't do anything in regard to the port,
So that's a plus because we don't really need to be saving any of that.
right?
And if the port has access to, by friendship, with any of your accounts, then we can go and see your feed, and then we can go in and take screenshots and document anything that needs to be documented, or you can actually document it by just asking Facebook to give you the transcript. And if you don't have a social media, I'm not sure, John, if you do social media.
I get it, Port of Allyn related, zero.
Right.
Yeah,
I
I'll look at ours, but
I
I
mean,
don't
I
sure
don't
post
even-
anything. Yeah.
So I'm not short of saying anything
Yeah.
bad about any particular social media. I mean, I go out of my way to avoid it like a plague. I mean,
If I didn't have a business, I'd do the same thing. I'd avoid it like the plague.
I
It's
just
just-
on social media,
it has its place.
I don't even mention.
Anyway, you don't have to worry about that with me.
So as long as everyone has any social media accounts friended to the port, then we can go periodically and look and see what activity's been done.
I
And
don't
as,
know if I am a friend.
and as long as you know that, putting anything port related means that we have to, keep it
Sure.
for public records, and you keep yourself from doing that, $4,700 bill,
Right.
gone.
No. I was the one hammering my soldiers for getting on social media, just like, shush. Anyway, yeah, no.
Okay, so now we kind of established that, we do need to get a policy.
Which we
And
will,
you
we will
will
work on,
work on?
yeah, we will work
Okay.
on over the next few months.
Okay.
With everything else we got going on, and get a policy in front of you and get a resolution written
Yeah.
up.
Okay, next is, anything more on that one?
No, that's,
Okay.
unless you have any other questions.
Nope. Discussion on the formulation of subcommittees?
Yeah. My thoughts on that are, that's a good workshop
Yeah,
kind of discussion, because I've already laid out
Okay.
the different committees that I think we need to have that we need to discuss or talk about, from budget to water policy to developer, and who wants to jump on having, engaging and helping and supporting our executive director. And it kind of works with that. Jeff needing us to engage with him in a couple different areas.
sure.
So I say workshop.
Okay, I'm good with that. How about you?
That's where we'll go over it.
Okay,
That'll work.
Okay, cool.
All right, we will add that to future workshop.
okay. And next is administrative removal of
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, so I called Travis
Okay,
and felt that I had a little trauma coming out of our previous experiences, if you will, and trying to clean things up. And so I wanted to jump all over that and not push it into his rice bowl yet. I think it's where it needs to go now. And,
Okay.
and relieve myself of that authority, if you will.
Okay.
And that particular responsibility. And I trust that we're in good shape with me letting that go, and we'll take it from there.
okay. And you still have access to that too, correct? Okay,
That'll be an easy transition for you guys. It's just with the bank, that's all.
Yep,
yeah. Okay, so you need a motion for that then?
yeah, just board needs
Okay.
to approve it, so.
Mike, would you mind
Yep.
putting a motion?
I'll
Is
make
that-
a motion that we move Commissioner Sheraton from the Gitsap Bank Cash Management System, and we give it over to Travis.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
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 This needs to be real clear for bank purposes, so. Now, did you also do the other part of that motion? I didn't.
No, you don't need to do the second.
Okay, good.
It's actually detailed right here.
All right.
Got it here.
Oh, actually, I did kind of throw that in there, but that's okay.
I know,
Okay,
but let's go
All right.
ahead and make it clear.
Second one, I'll make a motion to approve administrative access for Executive Director Travis Merrill to the Kitsap Bank Cash Management System.
okay. Right here, a second?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
Yep.
Okay, next is our financial position report.
Okay.
Where do we start on that one? Aaron, do you speak to that one?
Yep.
I can, so today I'll have the new.
Yeah, you got a podium. And I'm gonna pass this over to you now. This is,
Okay,
Aaron got finished up for us here.
great.
Okay.
This is a new income and expense report.
Okay,
Jeff, you got your copy?
Jeff, Travis, and I met earlier this month and kind of talked about ideas and things, so we, all, again, still work in progress if there's suggestions, but hopefully this kind of, we used 2023 as a guide for what expenses come in what months. So I made bold the 2 columns that I think are probably the most important. Our year-to-date, that's our actual, and then our total projected for the rest of the year based on 2023, but using this year's budget. So it's kind of, and then we can always, as we know things are coming up, I was just talking to Jeff, I don't know if we've got some big expenses coming our way in relation to his water system. We can always plug those in as we go, as we know that that's coming. But I think this shows, you know, where if things are similar and continue going on this path, where we'll end the year, and I can make the columns. I did August, September, and then fourth quarter summary for October, November, December, but I can spread those out more, however you would like.
Oh, this is looking a lot better. It's easier for me to kind of look ahead.
Good, good,
A
good.
little bit better. Well, yeah, because also, well, bear with me here. So us moving our meeting, we'll be able to have better information coming in to that next month's meeting.
I think it'll be
This will help
huge.
you, and then you're already on a, because positional reports were, we weren't doing that, right? So real truly genuine position reports. So this is really helpful. That's all I can say.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
Love it.
But this shows us still what we have coming in, right?
Correct.
All right.
Yes, yes.
And that's really important. And we can look at the bottom line.
Yep, I think, and then any big expenses that are coming out. There's still a few things that I think are possible in Jeff's budget. We had some possibility to borrow from the water fund if needed, and then also we needed to set up a repayment plan for that. But yeah, I think we're on our way to success with the report, hopefully.
Right on.
So your list here for expenses as human resources, that is payroll? Okay.
And starting in April, the staff had started tracking separately their water versus just general payroll expenses. So I've been able to actually each payroll cycle break out, okay, here's how much is actually should be expense to the water fund versus the general fund. So that's been nice. And then when we do the expense reimbursement, I'm able to give that a specific actual dollar amount instead of just a general 15%.
Okay.
Dawn, Justine, Natalia, and myself, we all break out and make sure that we detail all the hours of our water system work.
Great.
So that that can actually be properly identified to the water system.
Yeah, so the good thing about having the meeting on the second Monday is that you'll have this, when Travis gives you your packets on Wednesday or Thursday, is you should have this so you have the weekend to look over it and have any questions that you might come up with.
And we won't be doing a lot of ratifications either, because they were already been approved to happen, correct? Am I misunderstanding that?
Well, the ratifications is just to show you week by week what we pulled out of the bank and put at the Treasury Department.
Oh, that is specific to
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
and that
Be
doesn't, that
ongoing.
doesn't actually show you in the income and
No,
expense
I like
report.
that. We'll keep that, because I'm no longer on that account anymore. So, there. Cool.
The second report that we came up with was the water billing aging report for all customers. And so you can see what balances are still owed, who's far in arrears versus who just, needs a couple extra days. So my goal with this report is to kind of also incorporate, so you can see the ebbs and flows of consumption, since it is, water usage does tend to be seasonal. So you can kind of see, oh, it's July, we'll probably be seeing a little more revenue with the water system. So that's evolving, but just a quick calculation, at the June 15th billing, we billed just under $7,600. Outstanding is still just under $5,000, so collecting.
Where are you right
Yeah.
now? Sorry.
I'm sorry, this, the water billing report.
Yeah,
On the back page is the total billing.
okay. I was wondering for that number you just gave, that's all. All right.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I like this report. It is a lot easier.
Where we're at, we're coming into, yeah.
Okay.
And then the second quarter.
Yeah, second quarter reimbursement, so like I said, payroll is an actual, and then we just took those administrative expenses, and 15 and 85 was just a general number that I think at end of last year was come up with, but that can always be adjusted if we feel like it needs to be more or less.
Okay.
And one thing that isn't actually noted on here is the insurance payment, which will, we do at 25% rather than 15 because of how much it takes up of the water
Okay,
system.
yeah.
And those expenses won't come out until third quarter and fourth quarter.
What
because
report
that's
are
when
you
we pay
looking at
those.
right there?
This one is the expense adjustment for the second quarter water fund to the general fund.
I think it's with the voucher listing.
We're not looking at that. Oh, is it on the voucher?
It's behind the voucher listing, is with that part of the package.
Oh,
Yeah, part of the voucher listing.
okay.
So I will adjust that. I was not aware of that insurance part, so I'll
Yeah,
adjust that.
and we don't have that payment coming out until August,
Yeah.
so.
So I want to digest this, but I really like the direction we're going with these reports.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Aaron.
Lastly, one thing on the vouchers, Travis received an invoice from Ferguson for some water.
For two water meters that we picked up
inventory.
for builders.
That came in on Saturday, so it is not included on the voucher list. We can add it tonight if you all would like to do that before it goes out.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Good catch.
right,
The next month's report.
exactly. So that's the next time, we'll like, well, that it's gonna be, have meat into it for coming out of this month.
Okay, so just pay it next time? Okay, I won't worry about
I
it.
mean, yeah, if we pay it next time, it'll be about 15 days late in the
So
cycle.
why can't we pay it
Well,
now
we
then?
can pay it now.
Yeah.
I'm just as far as the report goes, that's all.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. We just wanted to make sure, because you're going to be approving the voucher list, that will be added on there.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
I think we misunderstood each other.
All right.
Okay. Any questions
No.
for Aaron anymore?
Nope.
Mr. Van Busker's got something.
Oh, yes, question?
I did have a question. You just hired an attorney firm this evening, I take it. I can't recall what we had budgeted in the fourth budget for legal expenses.
I'm sorry, you read my mind, because that's not something I want to, we got.
I thought I remember like a number called 22,000, but
Yeah.
we'll have to go back and look.
And what sort of contract arrangements did you make with CBS?
They're going to
What's
send us,
Were they-
well, I don't think they have a,
Retainer, or what did they?
No,
No, it's not a retainer.
it's not a retainer. We ask for their services, they keep a tally, and then they bill us, but they provide us a schedule of what that billing will look like per our requests.
So he's been counsel for a specific thing, now he's going to be general counsel.
yeah. We haven't gotten that contract yet, but.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I believe we're on to the vouchers.
Okay. Is it a question, Brad, or is it public comment? You're muted.
On the water.
If it's a question, go ahead. Can't hear you, you're muted.
This would be, okay.
Okay.
This would be, he would need to have a specific question for Aaron.
Yes,
Okay.
specific question for Aaron.
Just trying to be helpful.
Can you hear us now?
It still shows muted in the corner. No longer.
Can you hear us, Mr. Carey? No, he's talking, we can't hear. We cannot hear you.
We're working on it.
He's got to unmute himself, maybe. 'Cause we just heard our council on there. That was the last time we heard a thing on Zoom. So it shouldn't be an issue.
How about now?
Definitely needs to know, is there? that we
What does that
cannot
say? I
hear?
can't read it.
I can't read that, can you? Oh, he's unmuted, okay.
And our volume is all the way up. So,
Huh?
It must be on his computer.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Must be on his computer.
Yeah, because we just heard from our council and there was no issue.
He said he's unmuted though, so.
Well, you can be unmuted and have your volume all the way down.
You gonna call him? All right.
Okay.
There we go. Can you hear us now?
that's not working.
No, we can hear you now. Oh, no, that's.
Well, it's on his phone.
Hey, Brad, we can't hear you. As a moderator.
Yes.
It shows,
Same time.
it shows
Shows
unmuted.
unmuted.
Yes, do you have a question for Aaron?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The question is this. With regard to the water system budget, is support required to go to the utilities and transportation committee and setting those connection fees and monthly usage rates? And how will that affect their budget if they are?
I don't think so. I think the Utility and Transportation Commission is typically privately owned or shareholder-owned utilities, PSC, Cascade Natural Gas, et cetera. The port is going to be regulated under RCWs. I think it's 46 is ports and
53 is sports.
53 is port, 57 is water districts. So, yeah, different methods.
Okay, well, last question. Are they required to go through their membership to have those rates approved by the membership that own the water system?
Yes, we are required to have hearings open to the public for the membership and put,
Thank you.
yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you, Justine, for trying that. And Jeff?
And ports are not required.
Yeah.
PDs, they're not required to DTC or anything.
No, we're just,
That was always my big hand,
Yeah.
you didn't have to do what I had to do.
I got it.
we're beholden to our users.
That's interesting. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Wow.
so, now we go to,
You need
The
to
payments?
approve the vouchers.
yes,
And you'll have to strike Ron Jameson's from the list
okay. Let me find my vouchers here.
until we further investigate. Yeah, until next meeting.
Which one? Where's that? Who's gonna sign it?
Here's those.
No, these ones we will do
Okay.
digitally because we have to make changes to them for you approve.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to wet signatures.
Strike
All
for
right.
further discussion, right?
Yeah, so we'll be striking the Ron Jameson refund for temporarily, and then be adding the Ferguson one, and then approving voucher lists A, B, and C on the agenda. Or B, C, and D on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay,
And the Ferguson is relevant to what again? Which one?
It is to the water system voucher
Yeah.
list.
Okay,
And
to
it's-
the
yeah,
water fund voucher.
it's for two meter bases.
Okay.
oh, yes,
Water
that's
meters.
right.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
But the dollar amount changes then.
Yes, yeah, so you're gonna be 25,000 less than the 26,913.26, and then we're gonna add about 390 some odd dollars.
The
pretty big.
I don't know if my math is right here. With the Ferguson, it came up to 27,293.01 less 25,000, so.
Okay, well,
27,301.
Yeah, let's see, let's just do it.
Well, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm sorry.
27,293.01 minus the 25,000.
well, I can make a motion that you can figure that out because we're within the ballpark without splitting a penny on here. I
And
can,
it would be 2,293.01.
Okay,
and how many cents?
1.
201 cents.
That makes sense.
It's this,
All right.
293.
Oh,
Yeah,
293.
2,293 and 1 cent.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
so we can have a motion to approve general fund voucher, payroll vouchers, and water fund voucher, which is now not the 26,913, but now the 2,293 and 1 cent.
So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion for B, C, and D,
Okay,
and I'm going to reference the last four numbers. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I'll just reference the dollar amount.
okay,
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion for the general fund voucher of $6,475.58. Make a motion to approve these. The payroll voucher for $15,665.55. And the revised number we have for water, what?
is.
Yeah, right here.
You got there?
Cool.
Perfect.
Is payment of water fund voucher for $2,293.01, and make that approve.
Motion to approve. Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye, so moved.
I was gonna say, in case, if we're off by $1, we'll just make that happen, that's all right. Thank you, Karen.
Yes, thank you.
We are on to the good,
The public comment, okay. We've had quite a lively time here, that's
Yeah.
great. Now we are at public comment. Okay. Yes, Brad, go ahead, 3 minutes if you would, oh,
Thank you, can you hear me now?
yeah,
Now, Morris.
Hey, home run. What I did is I got out of the system and I got back in again, and it seemed to work okay, just FYI.
Cool.
Well, so thanks for taking my public comment. So a couple things are, my earlier public comment, we talked about the parks and that parks don't do very well for ports just because there's different laws governing park districts versus port districts. What I was going to suggest you guys do is what we did out here in Shibuya was, conduct a survey, see what the community, what the taxpayers base would like to do regarding that. Explain to them the problem, that the taxpayers' dollars might be better used in investment in a business park to create economic growth and development rather than regular parks. What we did is we did that, and the public said, hey, let's, dissolve the port in that case. But before we did that, we took the park and we transferred over to the county through an interlocal agreement. And so that allows the community to still have their park, but the tax base is much greater for supporting the maintenance and upkeep and what have you. So that's an idea there. Not get rid of your parks, but just transfer them to a different facility or set up a park district too. All right. Second of all, regarding the water system. Now, RCW 5308040, based on what I've seen, it looks like the port is complying, or at least trying to comply with making sure that all the money that it takes to run the water system is being used, is coming from the ratepayers. Okay. So that's a good thing. But I can tell you when Larry was around, that was not happening. And so there needs to be an accounting process performed that goes back and looks at all the general fund money that was spent, like on our litigation, for example. You guys spent about $200,000 in litigation because I sued over the water system. So those monies have to be paid back to the general fund by the ratepayers. Now, the other thing is the statute clearly requires consent. Have you guys reached out to Washington Water or
Lakeland Village Water to ask them if they would be interested or if they'll grant you consent to be in the water business? And you don't have to answer that. I'm just saying I would expect you should do that, because my guess is, maybe Travis knows the answer. Do you know what Washington Water's connection fees are running right now, or what Lakeland Village connection fees are running right now?
There's public comment.
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, anyway, so my guess is, and I can check with Washington Water and we'll see what their fees are. But I'm saying if your job is to help the people get water and you're using their money to do it, but you're not a water district, you're adding it to the extra layer of bureaucrat cost. And so it's harming economic growth and development. In other words, those people, you don't own the water system, the ratepayers own it because the law says that you have to have them pay for it. Therefore, they own that system, and you're just acting as a facilitator. So my guess is that you might want to consider transferring that over to Washington Water, your water system, and let them deliver water to the ratepayers cheaper, and then that'll help promote economic growth and development, plus you'll help Washington Water's business. Your business, the measure of success for the port is whether or not businesses around you are succeeding and you're developing economic growth and development in the district. How am I doing on time?
You're done.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Who would like to speak next?
I will, but I'll let others first,
Okay.
unless there's no others.
I have, let's see, who first?
Ken wants to.
He didn't raise his hand yet. I don't see Joe wanting to talk yet either. Go ahead, Aaron.
When I was doing the annual report this year for the state auditor's office, I was able to go back. I think I went from 2020 on, and I did figure out the legal fees. I don't think I looked at because I wasn't sure exactly how that was split up between the two parts. But I did figure out what portion wasn't being covered by the water system. So if we ever need to look at that, we have that.
Okay, thank you. Barry?
We'll tweak that.
Just have Barry Betzinger, Allyn. Just a couple things. I want to go back to the first of the meeting when Kevin Shetty was talking about economic development. And I don't want to get all negative and everything, but we've been talking, and I know you've had chaos after chaos after chaos, and you're trying to recover it. But last year, I believe, in the summertime, is when I first heard that we were awarded $500,000 to help repair the dock, not to replace it, but here we are a year later. Now, the port's revenue probably went way down. I don't know if you have a figure, because all summer, Vicki and I sat there and we saw boats tie up to the dock, and 10 minutes later, they left again because they didn't have any water or power. So, if we have the money still, that would be a revenue increase for you guys for this summer. I was wondering on the, and the Argent Oyster House. I know that's been set way back for various reasons, but we were going to put the Oyster House here, and there was talk of Taylor Shellfish having a little sale of their products out of the dock, out of the Oyster House. And I don't know where that went, but that's another revenue source and business that, Taylor Shellfish would be operating. And on the dock, I thought I read this last year that Hoodsport got over $100,000 or something to repair their pier. Okay. I don't know. I know that there was an old dock, and this was a new dock back a long time ago. I think before Sergeant's Oyster House was, in 1952, was, at the head of the bay. Has there been any talk about seeing if we could get that as a historical structure. You know, that way it'd make it easier to get federal grants or other grants that would help us repair, you know, the whole thing. And that's just a question. But again, I know you're way overloaded, so, but I wanted to bring them up. I was surprised the other day about the water system that I was told that the pressure was like 75 psi down here. Is that still the pressure in this area down below here?
It's more than that, right? I think the pressure, we should check your pressure.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a gauge. It's not calibrated, but it goes onto a hose bib. But anyway, as a result, most cities develop their water systems at, 50 to 60 psi and maybe a little bit, higher. We need to be informed that we have that much pressure. I got to split my water hose, which is no big deal. I've got a heavy-duty water hose, but I'm talking about dishwashers, kitchen appliances that use water through hoses, like different things. So,
Okay.
anyway, if you could just put a letter in the next bill.
Good one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ken?
Travis, did you make note of that? That's a good idea. Okay.
That's all good right now.
I'll be brief. Ken Van Busker from Belfair. You're looking to create some subcommittees, and I'd like you to consider one of them to be port safety, and I'd like to volunteer to be a citizen member of that committee. I have some background in safety. I looked at the minutes of the workshop meeting that you had a couple weeks ago, and in there it was discussed that there was some asbestos removed from the Sweetwater project. I think the port should request a copy of that survey and also the demolition permits. That pile sat in the rain for 9-10 months, and if that had asbestos in it, it's not a good thing because it probably leached into that creek. Somebody should do a forensic audit on that whole project down there. And I think the port shares responsibility for that because you opened that road. You paid for a person to cut that tree up and let those folks in there to clean it up. And you should probably tell the people that volunteered to clean that property up that there was asbestos there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jeff?
Jeff Carey, Belfair. On the area of the budget, we'll have to do some more tweaking. I'm looking at numbers and having, they're not working quite the way I'd like to see. But one question, is the retained earnings the current position? Okay. You might want to look at that because that's playing exactly or a little further ahead than I had anticipated.
What was it?
And it was retained earnings at the top of that one chart that breaks it out, your forecasting kind of.
Okay.
Not the trial balance, but the other one, which gets us to this issue. Remember when I worked with the other parties as well as the board on the budget?
It's on the one she gave us, right? Yeah.
At the top, at the very top.
All right.
Okay.
Look over there in August.
Okay.
Notice the numbers, how they go. Okay? They're going down is what I'm trying to say, in short. And so in September, we'll probably need to address that issue about the loan, and I'm a little concerned, not that you can do anything about it, and this should not worry about at this point, but as I worked out those 330 or 315 categories, and yes, I know what they were, for the budget.
Right.
There's not a lot of wiggle room, and the port's going to probably have to borrow from water fund to make it to April next year. Based upon what happened, how the expenses played out this year and last. And
Really?
and things, I went through all these categories, and I don't recall ever seeing this bill with this 4,700 with the social media one.
I think we took it off when we were doing our.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
it was in
Yeah.
there.
They just sent the bill to me.
No, I'm not asking for any explanation. What I'm really trying to say is inform you.
Yeah.
Those kind of hits on a budget that you have
Yeah.
are not pretty, and, you know, they aggravate the situation. And I'll talk to Travis because there's some other questions here. There's no use tying up everybody, but
Okay.
my objective is to work with the board, work with your staff, work with whoever else, you know, the public is going to help to get
Yeah.
this port in the black, consistently in the black, without, you know, going through things. And as an example, which you saw in the last workshop, I've created a draft, basically a ballpark list of the assets of the port and their water system. Pardon me, I'll just kind of close on that. That, you know, people ask why your rates are high. Okay, well, for openers, if the port is saving money to address those facilities as they wear out, with the current number of users you have, you need to charge about $20 a month. That's part of your bill, okay?
Yes.
In this year's budget, when we figured out and worked with the rates you had approved already, and my objective is to eventually get the rates lower, get the connection fees lower, what have you. But I also want port to be financially viable. So there's two different issues. And where I'm going is this. In the budget we set out, in the month-to-month revenue, we were actually about 5,000 short, which we budgeted. It'll all work itself out. But what I'm trying to tell you is when the port's charging $59.95 or whatever for residential, all those funds that are coming in, and then through the users you acquired from me, all those revenues coming in don't quite pay the bill.
To be fair to
Okay,
public comments,
yeah.
we've got to
We need
Yeah.
to wrap this up.
Yeah, so the bottom
Thank you,
line is, I'm just saying,
be no disrespect.
yeah, well, I understand, be aware that
Right.
you, so,
Yep. We'll be, and you can call us anytime. And
Yeah.
next workshop.
In the
Okay,
workshop.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Okay. Joe? Yes.
Yeah, hi, this is Joe Peter. First of all, I had some concerns, real concerns about the meeting tonight and the fact that we were not on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Our company name was not mentioned on the meeting. We had no notice that we were going to be brought up in the conversation tonight, so that's very concerning that the government agency is handling things in this matter. Secondly, I noticed looking at the port website that false information has been posted about our company. Addresses that have been posted with payments due have been paid. This is false information. This is defamation of character. A government agency should know better than this. Secondly, precedent has been set with the amount of fees, the water fees have been charged to our company in the past by the previous port director. The fees have been increased. This goes against precedent. Also, the port has admitted that they are out of control. Their ability to properly bill not only us but our tenants has been out of control, sporadic, and we have asked for policy change. We would have hoped that would have been on tonight's agenda, but it was not even considered. As Brad mentioned, the port water fees are far too high. They're not competitive. They are overly burdensome with bureaucracy. that is not needed. And so this needs to be addressed. We would like to call a meeting for next week with the board to discuss these items and to rectify the wrongs and to clear the record. And we would like to get that on the agenda as quickly as possible.
Okay. Yes, we can arrange that.
How it should have been handled. We'll do that.
Yeah. Anything else, Joe?
I think that's all I need to have to say for tonight.
Okay. Thank you for your comment, and we'll get with you for time.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Everwoman, could I have a meeting?
Two, please.
I'm sorry.
Hello?
What did he say?
Meeting two,
Um,
Frank Terry here.
Sure, you have 2 minutes. Is there anybody else first that wants to speak? Just to be fair.
He's asking for a meeting with you next week.
Oh, is that what he said?
I mean,
What did he
I
say?
don't want to speak. I'd just like to have a meeting with you guys to talk about our settlement agreement.
no.
Oh,
We got counsel
we
for
can't,
that.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Council can be present.
You could reach out to our counsel directly, Mr. Carey. We're not going to
Yeah.
speak to that matter.
Not right now, we won't. Thank you, though.
Okay, so you're authorizing me to speak with your counsel?
Well, we don't need to authorize anything. I'm letting you know that you're asking for something, you need to talk directly to our counsel on that matter. That's why we have counsel. On that
Okay,
matter,
well, I'll get a hold of your counsel.
thank you.
So,
Yeah.
thank you for setting up a meeting, allowing me to
Well,
talk to your counsel.
I didn't say to set up a meeting. I said just to go directly to our counsel for those questions. Okay.
Okay, so you don't want to have a roundtable meeting is what you're saying?
Did you have a public comment? Because that's what this is open for right now, is public comment, Mr. Carey.
We are not really allowed to talk about that
Right.
subject right now. That's been the advice of our council. So if we could move along, or if you have a question or a comment.
Yeah, no problem, just tell me that next time, and I won't ask the question.
Okay. I'll remember that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Uh-huh. Okay. Anybody else? Anything for the good of the order?
Yes, everybody have a safe 4th of July, and don't forget Tahuya Days is July 6th in Tahuya.
We have Allyn Days coming up as well. That would be great, too. All right.
I've got 2 items for the good of the order. We
Okay.
had former North Mason High School graduate and standout Olympic team hopeful C.J. Allyn qualified for the Olympics
Wonderful.
Oh,
yeah.
that is good.
Today, in fact.
Great.
Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Okay. And the North Mason Food Bank, their new location at the old HD Pub location that they bought in Belfair,
Yeah.
that $1 million property, they will be opening soon, probably by the end of the month.
They
And-
bought it,
Yeah, well,
Really?
they got a loan, I'm sure, in grants, but
but still.
yeah, they did facilitate and have ownership of it. There's, the back room's got 16 double-door commercial refrigerators.
Wonderful.
They got the big walk-in freezer all running, and there's going to be a considerable amount of perishable storage capacity for the community.
Great. All right, well, thank you very much, everybody. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right.
I'll second.
All right, and all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.